Hey, how's it going? Welcome back. We are on week 12. I have it written week 11 here because I copy pasted every time. This time I forgot to change the number. Let's just dive right into this. So once again, it was not a big week that I had. Same thing, work was work. Everything I do in my free time has basically stayed the same. I've shifted some plans around because I now have Tuesday classes and then Thursday gaming instead of Tuesday gaming. But in general, everything's kind of the same. I did manage to get a really good schedule of keeping up my physical health this week. I got a walking pad a couple weeks ago and I use it intermittently. The goal is to use it for an hour a day. That's about 2.5 miles. The end goal was truly to be 2 hours a day, 5 miles, which is somewhere around 10,000 steps. If I could get in 10,000 steps, an average of 5 days a week on that alone, that would be pretty good because I am mostly sedentary. I just sit for my job, click clack on the computer. But it's nice that I have that opportunity and that I feel myself getting better at it. And that I walked for like 65 minutes, and the only reason why I stopped was because I had to leave. I was thinking, I could have went another 30 minutes, another hour. Wouldn't have been a big deal. Similarly, I've started some other like muscle workouts. I'm trying to do 10 push-ups a day or something small like that, and then over time increase that just to keep up the balanced body health. I've got a big my next TI game this next weekend, and my game mat for it, as well as the component holders that I bought came in. So everything I got to upgrade the game this came in. I will have to spend a couple hours this week putting it all together. And I think I didn't plan for it, but that segues perfect into what this week is. So nothing really happened this week, but I have done a lot of thinking lately. Just in general, I think a lot, but I've been thinking a lot about hypotheticals. And so I wrote down a couple that I want to talk about. And the first one, which is probably the longest one, is time. Hypothetically, if I had more time, because I don't have enough time right now to get everything done, what would I do? Well, right now, I am very happy with the time I have and with what I do. I hang out with friends, at least 4 days a week, and I'm out there being social to the point where on the days that I don't go out and be social, I can feel that sort of negative impact. I can feel myself getting stir crazy, or just at the end of the day thinking, did I waste my day by not going out? And I'm trying to find the balance of having some weekend time to do my own thing, to play my single player games, or play piano, do different things to progress my own individual life, but also making sure that I'm still making time for friends and for everything I'm doing. But if I had more time, what would I like to do? Well, I'd like to read more. I have minimum 3 books that I bought recently. I'm 3 chapters into one of them, and that's it. But reading takes time, and I don't have a ton of time. I try to fit it in here and there, but I'd like to do more of that. Music. Right now, actually, I haven't decided what I'm doing yet, but it's currently 9 o'clock. I decided to put this at the forefront of what I'm doing so that I can make sure I get it out on time. And I'll probably be up till 11:30 before I go to bed. So what am I going to do for the next about 2 hours? Well, I could play some games with friends. There are people in a Discord right now playing games. Or I could play some piano and do some singing. Or I could read. Can't do my single player game. That's going to take too long. But what do I want to do? And I don't know yet. But planning out these times and, when I have free time, what would I want to do? I have to start to decide what's, going to be most important for me. Board games is something that I do enough of. I do it once a week, guaranteed. And then sometimes when I have these weekend board games, I actually just came back from like a social board game night for a friend's birthday party. So I do a lot of that. I don't think I need more of it necessarily. I don't feel like I'm lacking. When it comes to video games, it's funny. I've always heard people later on in life saying, I don't really play games anymore. I just do it with friends sometimes. And I think about that and go, man, there's no way I'd ever give up playing games. That's crazy. Like, I love playing games and I want to keep playing games. It's a great time. But now I see myself looking at this and going, actually, what of free time I spent on games, I did 6 hours today. Well, this is going to sound like a lot, but I did like 6 hours today and 4 or 5 hours yesterday. But that means in an entire week, I spent 11 hours, 2 hours a day. when I used to play a lot more, because all other gaming I do is online with friends. And so I have actually kind of fit into that role of everything I do is social for the most part, and I have to really find time to do gaming on my own. And even then, it's not always the most fun thing to do. But I do wish I had more time to get that done, because I have a lot of single player games. I've committed to not buying any more right now, but I have a lot that I want to get through. And that would be something great to be able to do. I've also been looking at my commitment to D&D. And this is a tough one, because I've been doing it for, I've been living here for 3 years, and I did it for a year and a half before that. So I'm coming up on like 5 years of doing D&D, I think. And the problem is it's a big time commitment, right? People say I'm crazy for doing it, or it's just a crazy thing that I do. And it really is, because I drive down to southern Illinois. So I leave my place at 5, get there, to my final destination at 8. We play till 11, and then I get home at 2. So I'm spending 6 hours driving for 3 hours of D&D. And don't get me wrong, those people are really fun, and I have a great time with it, but how much longer can I really put in 6 hours of commuting to get 3 hours of gaming? And I'm spending gas money and deterioration on my car, and it was a big thing thinking about the fact that I put in probably 10 times the miles on my car in 2 years. I put in 50,000 miles, when if I didn't go to D&D, I would have put in, maybe 5,000, because I'm just driving around where I live. And there's a lot of cost to that. And I don't know that I'm super looking forward to the next set of campaigns we've got going. So I think in coming up with when my campaign ends and we're going to transition, I'm going to have to see where we stand, and may have to make a tough decision and say that's it's something I need to do less of, or that I give up altogether, or I don't know. Last week we had a player who couldn't make it, and it was really snowy, so I didn't want to go down. And this week we have a player that can't make it, and they're doing board games. But again, I'm thinking I don't want to do all that driving just for some board games when, frankly, I play board games every week on Wednesday. It's just a lot. So it's something that I wish I had the time, I wish I had the money and the everything to do, but I have to kind of start to make that decision of, is that what I want? Speaking of money, what would I do if I had more money? Well, I definitely thought for a long time that I was in a bad position, but I'm not, because I have no credit card debt that rolls over. I use my credit card and I pay it all off. And I have, student loans and car loans, but I'm not missing payments on any of those. And while I haven't held up a very consistent advanced payment strategy, I have made some extra payments on my car loan. And, if I just continued to spend what I spend a month, I make enough that I could pay it off faster. And paying off a car loan in the maximum amount of time isn't the worst thing in the world, especially when it's as small as mine is, $17,000, which is a lot, but I know people that are, in for a lot more. One of my friends bought a $40,000 car or something, and I thought about that. That's crazy. I do not need that. Not to mention the car is, well, it wasn't a car, it was a truck. So much, much worse on gas. But he enjoys it, so to each their own. I'm just not a car person. There's not a ton on money, but if I had more, I'd like to be able to save more, to invest, to see a long-term future with that. And I have plans for that, but I think I'm in it for the next 5 years of kind of getting by month to month. Now, this is a lesser fun hypothetical, but with everything going on, I've been thinking about what happens if there is conflict? What happens if there's a war? Where do I fit in? And it's funny, I only decided to talk about this because I have Call of Duty gameplay in the background, and I once again could not get multiplayer gameplay for tonight because it was the same. I actually recognize some of the names in the lobby. It's the same modded lobbies where people are just trick shotting, and it's hard to get games in at late at nights when that's happening. So I've decided I might just transition to doing like one campaign mission per week, because I really love the Modern Warfare 2 campaign. It is my favorite one. And I'm starting off this week, not chronologically, but with what might be my single favorite one of their own accord. But anyways, that's just tangent. I was thinking about what would I do if there was a war and potentially I was drafted. And I have no idea, because I don't like the idea of killing people. I don't want to be on the front lines. But I've just been thinking about it recently. It's just been in my mind, what would happen? And I don't have an answer to it. This isn't a segment that has a solution or something that I really need to talk about. But it's just something that I'm thinking about. Maybe in the future, when I listen back to this, I'll have an answer. I'll say, hey, it happened and this is where I am. Or it didn't, but I've got some better ideas of where I'd be because I spent a lot of time with ROTC friends from high school, and I know their opinions on it and where they would want to be. So yeah, I've been thinking about where would I be. Finally, and I didn't think I'd have enough to talk about, but looking at the time, I think I do. I've got about 2 minutes left. Hypotheticals on love. Well, I am currently single, and I have been for approaching a year. But before that, it was, God, I mean, aside from a short break, it was really like 7 years of being in relationships, between like 3 relationships. It was about 7 years or something like that. So, hypothetically, if I was in one, what would I do now different than what would I do before? Ooh, I really gotta get a throat lozenge or something. My voice is not happy with me right now. I was a bit too loud tonight at my friend's house. And I don't need to get too much into this, but as part of this whole year and assessing my life in this year of new and everything, and year of love, as I remember, as I said, I want to be more emotional with it, more open and communicative. I know I've said I want to be that with friends in general, but I think a big problem with what I've had in the past, some of the reasons I can't move on and get past some of the feelings I have towards certain individuals, is because I was just missing that. At the time, I had those feelings, but I wasn't letting them out, and I was being too solitary or, too holding it in, not wanting to let those feelings out and to experience them with another person. So I think that's the biggest hypothetical, that if I had someone to share that with, I would ensure that I did, because I think that was my biggest flaw in previous times that I would like to not necessarily atone for, but not make the same mistake twice. I had a bullet point to talk about Modern Warfare if there was time left, but there's not. So maybe that'll be a future week when there's not as much going on. But until then, I hope you have a great week, and I will talk to you later.